Thank you. So, like Magistrate Fanning was talking about that, this is a court, but who do we know that ourselves actually we have a little jail inside of us from what we experienced from the past that have locked us. No one is perfect, which is beautiful, so that we can learn from each other instead of like we just think that we have done everything. But I think every obstacle for me and for a lot of us is actually there's a learning process to make us inspire and be inspired. So I remember when I was young, I loved to paint, but I do not paint. And when my dad passed away, it actually awakened me to the point that he likes to paint too, but he never become an artist because that can't survive. So I think if he can do it, I will do that same thing too. So I do anything nearest to art, but art itself. So I was doing designing and I was an art director. And I remember at school, teachers say that, Ching, you always dream. No one will pay you. And then in my head I was saying that, someone will pay me dreaming and pay me so much money. But that's the interesting part I love about being a kid. Sometimes the smallest thing that you think and you thought that's it, but that is that smallest thing that moves you. So here I am, I was an art director, and my job is seriously sitting there dreaming and sketch and tell them, I think your product can do this thing. And then my company will earn millions from there. And I do dream, and people do pay me for that. But what knocking me is my dad passed away, and when I was 28, and I love my job so much. Everyone in my company do not sleep. We love that. And everyone is going through divorce or divorce. So I asked myself, is that where I want to go? Or perhaps I go out 2 years and I'll come back because I love that job. But I owe it to myself and I owe it to my dad who didn't fulfill his dream. Why do we learn history if we do not learn something about it and move from there? So I do, and for me to say I want to be an artist, there is a guilt there. And I do backpacking, and I say, one thing I learned is, remember I'm Asian, and all the Western movie is like, listen to your heart. I was thinking like, why do people say listen to your heart? How do you do that? So I actually literally used that word, listen to my heart, and went backpacking and tell my heart, please talk to me. If this trip, I meet a lot of artists, I'll be a full-time artist. If I meet a lot of volunteers, I'll be a full-time volunteer. I want to listen. And true enough, the whole trip, I only have very little money. I think it's $500. I end up 1 month and 17 days backpacking, and I keep meeting artists after artists and after artists. And the guy told me he's not an artist. Like, yep. And I'm trying to say, that's it. I'm not an artist. And he was having the same birthday as me. I was like, wow, how cool is that? So something in our heart is talking to us without us knowing. That's why I create a bird cage. So my point here is, it's not about me. It's about all of us that going different journey, but we have one heart. And that is so important for us to be aware of that and where do we go from there instead of jail ourselves. So they have taught all the paperwork side, and my side is being creative side because I can't write, but I love writing in the same ways of expressing. So the point here is when you look at all this art, it's actually not just the artists themselves, it is all of us has an art in us. That's why you dress differently. You have your different hairstyle. So in order for you to experience that self, come over here and spread the word out so that everyone, and I can see all the smile. That's what I mean. That's life. So beside what you're doing, then you thought, oh, I'm not creative, I'm not painting. No, all of us are creative. The way you talk, the way you dress, the way you pick your sunglasses, that's what makes us alive. And that's what makes us different. So I do hope that you all will work on that. And who are we to judge who comes in and if they have done something bad? Because all of us, something triggers us to do something good and bad. And it's all about love. Sometimes we get love, sometimes we don't. And that unbalance makes hatred. Unbalance makes us do rebellious things. And I want to share, like, this is the first art I ever made. I do not know how to do art. Art means you paint from your heart, not design, not straight line, not advertising. And my dad passed away. I was really sad. And when he died, half of me died. So I felt like I'm a walking zombie. But the other half of me didn't die because I want to help people. It's not that I want to, but it is there. This painting, when I painted that, it was because I was walking on the street and someone's supposed to sell batik. And this tourist was asking, what is this? And that two girls was chatting. And I'm thinking, okay, I'll help to sell the batik. And I tell them the story, and the man said, I like what you say, and you're so passionate. I'll buy the whole shop batik. I was thinking, oh, okay, good. But I didn't tell him that's not my shop. And I said, okay, I'll pack for you. And I tell the lady, the man is buying all the batik. And she said, really? I said, I think so. Ask him to pay. I was like, oh, okay. Would you like to pay first? And he paid for everything and packed up. And the woman said, I can go home. And I said, can I use your color? And she said, is that all you want? I said, yes. Because I'm actually really, really sad. I really do not know what to do. And I just went to buy a paper, and I used all the color and paint. And that was my first introduce of myself to the art. I was like, wow, what is inside? And I find there is a mother nature. At the side, there's a woman, if you look. And letting go bottom, there's another woman, which I didn't know that I painted that. But there's a hand of me letting go of my dad that I need to let go to move on. And the other one is receiving life. At the bottom is when I was born, he received me, and I cry a lot. So people say pearl is from crying tears, so I think I'm that pearl that always cry, so which is good. And I didn't paint anymore because I just start to think like any Asian, thinking that, oh, how stupid are you? What are you doing? So I didn't paint. And after that, the sadness still hit on, and I picked a cardboard from the street, and I painted the top painting where I meet my dad in the dream. Every time when I'm really giving up in life, ironically, he appeared in my dream, and I say, oh my goodness, Dad, how do you come here? How is the other side? We do have a conversation. And he said that, it's not easy for me to see you. Please continue to find your dream. I was like, how do I do that? He said, just tell everyone. And I'm thinking, like, do my dad know? Now I talk a lot. Before my dad passed away, I don't talk because that's the best way. I won't put any bad things to anyone or anything, so I don't talk, that I have husky voice. And also when I was young, my mom told me that I'm very ugly, and she do not know why she has a daughter like me, and she would tell me that I'm stupid. So I thought it's true because she's my mom. And sometimes when I'm 20 over years old, I told her that I bring my company a lot of money and business from my ideas, and she said, be careful, they haven't seen how stupid you are. So all my life, I just thought like, gosh, I am so stupid and I'm ugly. Even after I'm married, she said, you're still fat. This is the things that they talk about. And I was thinking, like, wasn't life have more? So I'm thinking that I love her so much. If she's a good person, so if you ever see her, I love her. It's one of those things, I'm not her cup of tea, so it's okay. But I'm glad what she did to me. If she didn't do that to me, maybe I do not think so much, I do not cry so much. And if this thing didn't happen, I may not be what I am today, so that's okay. And so when my dad passed away, I need to learn to talk because I don't talk, because I have low self-esteem. I'm lower than the dust. Sometimes I find I'm a speck of dirt. It's like hard to say how, but when he passed away, before he died, I thought that, hey, again, I learned from movies because I don't talk. So the only way I can talk is watching movie or read some books, which I don't read much. So in the movie, the ultimate moment, everything could be a love story, could be any story. They say, I love you. I was like, maybe I tell my dad that. And I look at my dad and I say, okay, that's what movies say. That and I was like, what? The word didn't come out. I was like, and it just didn't come out. And when he turned and looked at me and said that, who are you? I just cried, and I was like, this man don't even remember who I am, and I do not know how to express. Like, what is so wrong about my culture, or what is so wrong about me that this man is dying, and I can't say it. And that night, and I said, tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow. And that night, he just smiled and shine. And I said, I'm going to do it tomorrow. Even he do not remember me. If I say it, he won't know it. But tomorrow, he actually passed away. So I felt so regret that I tell my friend, I must have voice. Bring me to karaoke. Because I have no voice. And I think with the mic, I can yell. And she looked at me, Ching Ching, are you singing? And I said, yes, I am. How come there's no voice? I said, maybe the mic is wrong. And then she passed, are you singing? I said, yes, I am. Only two of us. And I realized that that's how bad I am. I have no voice, and I need to keep going. So when I do that artwork, and I went to art school, and I showed the first artwork to my lecturer said, please don't show anyone. It's a shame. Nobody expressed their feeling. Don't tell anyone. So I'm thinking, what do I do with art? So I kept again. And then when I had a chance, I'll just paint, but I feel guilt. I start to tell myself I need to move on. If I don't move on, how do I keep going where I want to help people? And then I come up with another series of batik, like self-embracing. So it's not about me, it's about every one of you here. You have to embrace who you are. So it's whether anything at all, I do not know what you're leaving, and every closed door, nobody knows what's behind. So it's embracing yourself, which is so important. And this is ugly duckling, and I always find that, oh, maybe I'll be ugly duckling. One day I grow up, I'll be beautiful. But I didn't want to turn into swan. I want to be the ugly duckling that grew up to be that duckling, because I do not want to lose my identity for who I am. I just want to be who I am. So I painted that, and that went to National Art Gallery in Malaysia. I was like, someone saw that. And that's my backpacking when I told the wind, please bring my message, where can I go? And every time when the wind blows, I'll just follow the direction and I get there. And that's where I realized that, why am I hiding at home so afraid? It was because I have a cage in me. That's where I start to do all this cage work, and hopefully when people look at it, they will see that, do we cage ourselves somewhere, and then we should move on? That's where all this cage work works. When I met Sue gave me a lot of chances to do artwork, and then Wagner is helping me, and Laila, and I met all these good people, and Mr. Fanning, you have tried my cooking. The truth is I do not know how to cook. I look at YouTube. So I realized all of us have potential when you smile, and when you trust yourself, you just do it. And nowadays, with everything, you can access and you can do it. And so before I finish, all of you, please remember to play that bird cage. It's like, instead of being when you're in trouble, go into a bird cage and ask yourself, what would your heart want to tell you? So go in and grab a paper, and before that, please write invisible with your finger some message and throw it to the bin and go inside, get a message. And hopefully you'll continue to shine and continue to support art in the court. Thank you.